You could feel it before tip-off. The parking lots around Gainbridge Fieldhouse were packed hours early. Jerseys flooded downtown Indianapolis. Little girls with homemade signs were sprinting toward the arena doors like it was the Super Bowl. ESPN cameras were everywhere. Celebrities started sliding into courtside seats, and somewhere inside league offices, television executives were probably staring at ratings projections, hoping this wasn't just another temporary sports craze. Then the game started, and suddenly the WNBA had its answer. Because this wasn't just another regular season opener, this felt like the official launch of a brand new era, one built around stars people genuinely cannot stop watching. When the final buzzer sounded on Dallas's insane 107-104 win over Indiana, the numbers coming in afterward told an even bigger story. Nearly 2.5 million viewers tuned in on a Saturday afternoon. That made it one of the most watched regular season games in ESPN history. Read that again. A regular season WNBA game on a Saturday afternoon pulled numbers most leagues would kill for. And honestly, if you watch this game, you understand why. This matchup had everything. Caitlin Clark, bombing logo threes. Paige Bueckers looking like a 10-year veteran in her first major spotlight moment. Aliyah Boston, bullying defenders in the paint. Azzi Fudd showing flashes that reminded everyone why scouts were obsessed with her long before injuries slowed her college career. It wasn't just basketball anymore. This felt like the WNBA's version of Magic versus Bird, the moment where a league stops asking for attention, starts demanding it. Bueckers might become its assassin. And then Dallas added another weapon, Azzi Fudd. For years, basketball fans have wondered what Fudd could become if she stayed healthy. Injuries constantly interrupted her college career, which almost made people forget how insanely talented she actually is. Saturday reminded everybody. Her jumper looked effortless, her confidence looked back. And most importantly, she didn't seem intimidated sharing the floor with massive stars. That matters, because great leagues survive when the next generation doesn't just arrive, but arrives ready. And that's exactly what this felt like. The old WNBA model used to revolve around one or two giant names carrying attention for the entire league. That's gone now. This version of the WNBA suddenly has waves of stars. Clark, Bueckers, Angel Reese, Aliyah Boston, A'ja Wilson, Sabrina Ionescu, Breanna Stewart, Juju Watkins waiting in the future like a basketball supervillain loading up in the background. That's how leagues become unstoppable. Not with one superstar, with an ecosystem. And Saturday may have been the clearest proof yet that the WNBA has finally built one. The game itself was completely ridiculous offensively. Dallas and Indiana combined for 211 points, which became the highest-scoring season opener in league history. That number matters for one simple reason. Casual fans love offense. Purists can argue about defense all day long, but high-scoring games create clips, highlights, social media moments, and viral attention. And the WNBA suddenly has an entire generation of players that can absolutely torch defenses from everywhere on the floor. The spacing looked different, the pace looked different, the confidence looked different, even the shot selection felt modern. There were stretches where it honestly looked like both teams were playing NBA-style pace with college-level emotion. That combination is gold for television. And TV executives know it. Because this wasn't just about one big rating, this was about proof of sustainability. Last season, some skeptics tried convincing themselves the WNBA's explosion was only happening because of rookie hype. The argument basically sounded like this. Once people get over Caitlin Clark mania, ratings will crash. Well, Saturday pretty much destroyed that theory. The ratings stayed massive, the crowd stayed loud, the social media engagement stayed insane. And maybe most importantly, the rivalries are starting to feel real. And sports leagues become cultural monsters when fans stop casually watching and start emotionally investing. That's happening right now. Indiana fans desperately wanted this win. Dallas fans desperately wanted Paige Bueckers to outshine Clark. People were arguing online all afternoon. Highlight clips were spreading everywhere within minutes. Debate shows instantly started screaming about the next face of the league. That's the machine every league wants. Emotional investment creates obsession, and obsession creates money, lots of it. That's why the business side of the WNBA suddenly looks completely different too. Franchise valuations are exploding, merchandise sales are exploding, expansion teams are already drawing massive crowds, and suddenly cities want in on the action. For years, people questioned whether women's basketball could become a true financial powerhouse. But the economics are changing fast now because the audience has changed. The WNBA no longer feels like a niche product people support out of obligation. It feels cool. That's a gigantic difference. Young fans wear WNBA jerseys casually now. Players are becoming social media stars. National sports shows lead with WNBA highlights. Celebrities openly talk about games online. That cultural shift is hard to fake. And honestly, the timing couldn't be better. Because the league's actual basketball product might be the best it has ever been. Veterans are still dominating, young stars are arriving faster than ever, and the skill level keeps climbing every season. You can see it in the shooting, you can see it in the spacing, you can see it in the confidence these players have offensively now. This isn't survival basketball anymore, this is superstar basketball, and the Fever Wings game felt like the perfect symbol of that transition. Even late in the fourth quarter, when the pressure got heavier, nobody backed down. Clark kept firing. Bueckers kept answering. Indiana made a furious push. Dallas answered again. Every possession felt massive. That's why the ending hit so hard. Not because Dallas won, not because Indiana lost, but because when the game ended, fans immediately wanted more. That's the secret sauce. Great sports moments leave people hungry instead of satisfied, and suddenly the WNBA has multiple players capable of creating that feeling every single night. That's terrifying for every other sports league competing for attention. Because this league finally has stars casual fans recognize instantly. It has rivalries, it has controversy, it has personalities, it has social media clips built for viral algorithms, and now it has television ratings proving those things translate into mainstream success. That changes everything. A few years ago, people talked about the WNBA like it was trying to grow the game. That conversation feels outdated now. The game already grew. Now the league is figuring out how massive this thing can actually become. And if Saturday's opener showed us anything, it's this. The WNBA isn't riding one player anymore. It's riding an entire generation. A generation fearless enough to shoot from the logo, confident enough to talk trash in front of millions, and talented enough to turn a random Saturday afternoon into one of the biggest basketball events on television. That's not a trend anymore. That's a takeover. And the scariest part for the rest of the sports world? This feels like the beginning. This doesn't feel like a league on the rise anymore. This feels like a league kicking the front door open. The stars are bigger, the crowds are louder, the rivalries are getting personal, and the basketball, it's absolutely electric right now. Caitlin Clark, Paige Bueckers, Angel Reese, A'ja Wilson. This isn't just the future of the WNBA anymore. This is the WNBA now. And if opening weekend looked like this, the rest of the season might be completely insane. So let me know in the comments, who's becoming the face of this new era? And if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe to Full Court WNBA, and I'll catch you in the next one.